Genres were shattered, boundaries were obliterated, music was never the same. But you've never heard of them. Well, today I'm traversing continents and genres from the swampy sounds of Florida to the experimental landscapes of Poland and Germany as I try to find more bands I bet you've not heard of. Buckle up because this ride is going to be big. Now, welcome back, and this is another in the series where I challenge you that I bet you don't know these bands that I'm going to be describing to you. Now, tell me in the comments which ones you did, and also tell me if there's some other bands I should include for future episodes. Now, all the bands have been suggested by you guys out there, and just let me take a moment to thank you for keeping on sending in all those suggestions. Thanks very much. So first up, let's head to the Sunshine State for a band that conjured up a dark theatrical atmosphere, White Witch. They were active from 1970 to 1974, and they emerged from Tampa, Florida, with a sound that was a heady mix of proto-metal, psychedelic rock, and a dash of occult theatrics. Think Black Sabbath meets Alice Cooper, but with a distinctly Floridian, swampy vibe to it. Now, their self-titled debut album, released in 1972, remains a bit of a cult classic, prized by collectors and aficionados of early heavy rock. The band's image was as important as the music, often incorporating macabre stage props and costumes. They cultivated a dark, mysterious aura that set them apart from many of their contemporaries.
Hop inside my rocket ship and quickly wheel disperse.
Now, whilst they didn't achieve mainstream success at all, their influence can be heard in later theatrical rock acts. The band's lineup shifted a bit during their short career, but the core members were dedicated to creating a unique and powerful musical experience. They played local venues and toured regionally, building a dedicated following. According to journalist Mike Stacks from Ugly Things, White Witch delivered a potent brew of heavy riffs, mystical lyrics and theatrical stagecraft, creating a darkly compelling sound that was truly unique. Their music was a sonic ritual, drawing listeners into a world of shadows and power. Strong stuff. Now let's cross the Atlantic to the UK, where we find the blues-infused progressive rock band of Blodwyn Pig. This band was formed by Mick Abrahams. Now remember him? He'd left Jethro Tull in 1968, and Blodwyn Pig were a short-lived but influential band. They blended jazz, blues and progressive rock and was both innovative and really quite technically brilliant. 2 albums were released, A Head Rings Out and Getting to This, before they disbanded in 1970. Now, Abraham's departures from Tull was due to musical differences, and Blodwyn Pig became his vehicle for exploring a more improvisational and jazz-orientated sound. The band's name itself is quite unusual, adding to their quirky and unconventional image. The music was characterised by complex arrangements, intricate instrumental interplay, and Abraham's distinctive guitar work.
Sing me a song in the morning. Sing me a song that I know.
Though their time together was brief, Blodwyn Pig left a lasting mark on the British blues rock scene. Melody Maker described their sound as a thrilling collision of blues, grit and experimental jazz flourishes, a sound that was both raw and sophisticated. They were pushing the boundaries of what rock music could be. Now, we're staying in the UK for the next band. We're going to encounter the pastoral beauty of Kestrel. They were active in the early 1970s, and they were a band that blended folk rock with progressive elements.
On a mountain, up in the atmosphere, where there's only a star to keep.
Their self-titled album is really a hidden gem, full of lush harmonies and intricate arrangements. They were a band with a very short, active period. The album, released in 1975, is now highly sought after by collectors. Kestrel's music is characterised by its gentle melodies, acoustic instrumentation and layered vocal harmonies.
I made a fortune, on somebody stopping, on somebody dropping.
The band's sound evokes a sense of tranquility and natural beauty, drawing comparisons to other British folk rock acts of that era. But despite their limited output, orchestral's music has resonated with fans of progressive folk, and their album is considered a classic example of this type of genre. The band members were skilled musicians, and attention to detail is evident in the intricate arrangements and delicate performances on this album. As a retrospective reviewer in Record Collector noted, Kestrel's music has a gentle, melancholic beauty, a reminder of the delicate side of early 70s British prog rock scene. Their album is a timeless piece of pastoral elegance. Well said, that man there. Now, from the UK, we're heading back stateside, this time to California, for the enigmatic band Blind Owl. Blind Owl were active in the early 1970s, and they were another short-lived band that produced a single, self-titled album. Their sound was a heavy, psychedelic rock, with a distinct West Coast flavour to it. Their album is very rare and highly sought after, and very collectible. Little's known about the band members themselves, adding to this mystique surrounding their sole release. The album features extended instrumental jams, swirling organ sounds, and heavy guitar riffs, typical of the psychedelic rock of the era. Blind Owl's music has been rediscovered by collectors and fans of obscure 70s rock, and their album has become the prized possession for those seeking out unique and forgotten sounds. The band's obscurity only adds to their appeal, making them a fascinating footnote in the history of Californian rock music. A review from a 1970s Rolling Stone issue described the band as a swirling vortex of psychedelic sound, a testament to the experimental spirit of the era. Blind Owl's music takes the listener on a trip through uncharted sonic territory. Now let's journey eastward, I think it is, to Poland for the progressive rock legends SBB. Szukać Burz Budź, translated to Search, Break and Build, were a pioneering force in Polish progressive rock. Formed in 1971, they blended jazz fusion, blues and hard rock into a unique and powerful sound. Their live performances were legendary, and their albums remain highly regarded. They were active for many years with a few breaks. SBB's music is characterized by its complex arrangement, virtuosic musicianship and emotional depth. The band's sound evolved over the years, incorporating elements of electronic music and avant-garde experimentation. SBB achieved significant popularity in Poland and toured extensively throughout Europe, gaining quite a reputation as one of the most exciting and innovative live acts on the continent. Their influence on Polish rock music is undeniable, and they are considered one of the most important bands in the history of Polish popular music. Prog magazine praised their virtuosic musicianship and fearless experimentation, making them one of Eastern Europe's most important progressive rock bands. SBB's music is a testament to the power of cross-cultural musical fusion. Now, we're going to be staying in Poland for the next band, and we find another iconic rock band called Lady Punk. They were formed in 1981 and were a hugely popular rock band in Poland. Their sound evolved from new wave to hard rock, and they became one of the most successful Polish bands of all time. Catchy melodies and energetic performances made them a staple of Polish music scene. Lady Punk's music is characterized by its strong hooks, driving rhythms, and charismatic vocals. The band's lyrics often reflected the social and political climate of Poland during the 1980s, and this resonated with a whole generation of young people. Lady Punk achieved massive commercial success in Poland, selling millions of records and headlining countless concerts. Their influence on Polish popular music is immense, and they remain one of the most beloved and enduring rock bands in the country. A contemporary Polish music journalist noted, Lady Punk captured the spirit of the generation, blending catchy hooks and a rebellious energy that resonated deeply. It became the soundtrack to a pivotal moment in Polish history. And we're coming back into the UK now for a hard-hitting blues rock band called Wild Turkey. These were formed by Glenn Cornick after he left Jethro Tull. Wild Turkey was a hard-driving blues rock band with a strong stage presence.
The meadows cast away in shame, no honor now in murder's game.
Active in the early 1970s, they released a couple of albums that showcased Cornick's bass playing and the band's raw energy. His departure from Jethro Tull was due to disagreements over the band's musical direction, and Wild Turkey allowed him to pursue a more straightforward rock sound. The band's music's characteristics by its heavy riffs, powerful vocals, and bluesy undertones. Now, they toured extensively in the UK and Europe and built up quite a strong reputation as a solid and reliable act. While they didn't achieve the same level of success as Jethro Tull, the band remains a respected name in the history of British blues rock. Sounds describe them as a potent blend of blues rock power and sharp musicianship, a band that delivered a punch with every note. Wild Turkey were a band that knew how to rock. Finally, for this episode, we head off to Germany for the experimental krautrock pioneers Grobschnitt. Grobschnitt were active from 1970 to 1989, and these were one of the most innovative and theatrical bands in the krautrock scene. Their sprawling epic compositions and elaborate stage shows made them a cult favourite. Solar Music is often called one of the best krautrock albums ever made. Grobschnitt's music is characterised by its long improvisational passages, psychedelic textures, and theatrical elements. Their live performances were legendary, often lasting for several hours and incorporating elaborate costumes, props, and stage effects. Their sound evolved over the years, incorporating elements of progressive rock, hard rock, and even comedy. Now, they achieved a dedicated following in Germany and throughout Europe, and their music continues to be appreciated by fans of experimental and progressive music. The Wire described their music as a journey into outer reaches of sonic exploration, a blend of progressive rock, psychedelia, and avant-garde experimentation. Grobschnitt created a unique and unforgettable sonic world. And there you have it, another dive into the depths of rock history. For some bands, I bet you didn't know. Once more, thank you to everyone for sharing your examples. I really appreciate that. So tell me in the comments exactly how many you knew. Now, no cheating. Be honest with your answers. If you've enjoyed this journey, be sure to check out our previous editions where we've explored even more hidden gems. I've made a playlist of the videos in the series so far, and I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video. The very first of those videos was the one that started a bit of a storm, really, as so many claim to know the vast majority. Try out your knowledge by watching that video next, and I'll see you over there.